What's up, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're jumping into Black Ops 7 Zombies, and this is going to be your guide to build the new wonder weapon, the Necrofluid Gauntlet on Ashes of the Dam. Now, when you first spawn in, your priority is going to be to turn on the power. You have 3 power pumps that are required to be turned on throughout this run. It's going to be one over at Vandorn Farm, one you might be familiar with if you played the beta. These are the power pumps that have the spores on them. You shoot the spores to eventually get access to the top spore. You shoot the top spore, and then you go turn on the power switch within that area. You're going to need to go over to Blackwater Farm as well, where another location will be. And then the last and final power pump is going to be in Ashwood. So basically from spawn, you'll go left, it'll take you to farm, or you'll go right, it'll take you to Blackwater. And despite which route you take, both of them meet up in Ashwood to make things simple. Now, during this process, you are going to want to drive Tessie over to the garage, maybe get Pack-a-Punch enabled on it, because I feel like you're going to need Pack-a-Punch level 1 in order to take on this next step. But once you do have the power turned on, now at this point, if you do have the currency and you want to do something ahead of time, you can head over to Zarya Cosmodrome. Basically, if you do leave Ashwood and take the route to the left, it should take you directly to it, because this is a location that you're going to have to go to eventually, and there is a couple of doors I believe you do need to open. But once you make it over to Zarya Cosmodrome, you're going to get out of the truck on the right side, and you're going to go down a little ramp there where you will see a little underground area, and there is going to be a little screen or ATM looking thing on the wall that is going to have sparks shooting out of it, and this is a place that you're going to actually bring Klaus. But we first need to go get the stabilizer chip. So now that the power is turned on, hopefully you're at least Pack-a-Punch level 1, you're going to head back to the spawn. And actually, if you're coming out of the Janus Towers, it's going to be on the right. If you're staring at Janus Towers, it's going to be on the left. There is going to be a box that you will now be able to shoot where a Uber Klaus will pop out. You're going to need to eliminate this Uber Klaus, and don't forget it does have an Uber Klaus core. Once you eliminate the core, you will get a stabilizer chip, and this chip will be your ticket to getting access to Klaus. So now that you have the chip available to you, you're going to need to make your way back over to Ashwood. Once you make it back to Ashwood, you're going to want to get out of the truck and go to the zip line that is on the side further away from the garage, on the opposite side from the garage. It's going to take you up. You're going to head basically straight. You will see the Vulture Aid perk machine, and the building to the left will be the building you want to head into, where you will see Klaus hiding in a cell. Now, you have the stabilizer chip already, so you are going to be able to insert that there. And then at this point, you will need to throw 2 stun or concussion grenades within the cell, and you will see that Klaus above his head has a concussed effect, where he will then actually get up, get out of the chair, and fly out of the roof, where you will then have access to be able to command him. And depending on if you're on PC or console will determine the interact button that is required. But I believe it is your tactical button to command Klaus around the map. So now you're going to want to jump back into Old Tessie or even take a launch pad, but you're going to be heading over to the Cosmodrome where you opened up that door for that ATM-like terminal that's on the wall. You're going to take Klaus back over to this location, command him to go in front of it where you will see him interact with it, and then it will have a green light on it where you will be able to interact. Now, when you do interact with this, it starts a little lockdown style of event where a scanner is above the door. It's pretty much shining on one specific location on the ground, and the person that interacted with it does need to stand within it. I'm not really sure how this is going to work solo. I assume you're going to take advantage of Ether Shroud once you have permanent access to that, and you'll be able to kind of stand there for a good amount of that time, which will hopefully make doing it solo significantly easier. But once you stand in that location for the duration of time in the scanner, the door behind you or the door on the wall there will open up, and you will get access to the canister. Now with the canister in hand, you're going to need to return to all the power pumps that you completed throughout the map. So there's going to be one over in the farm, there's going to be one over in Blackwater Lake, and of course in Ashwood. Now that you're in the Cosmodrome, I would recommend taking Old Tessie and just heading back to Ashwood and doing that one first. But you're going to head over to the pump, and you will be able to actually place this canister within it. You are going to move fairly slow with the canister, but you can still take zip lines. I think you jump in the car, it actually puts it in the back, or in the Old Tessie, it actually puts it in the back of the truck, and you'll be able to pretty much travel pretty easily with the canister in hand. But you're going to head over to Ashwood. You're actually going to place it in the power pump like I said. There's going to be a little progress bar that you're going to want to defend it or just hold out the area. Once that progress bar completes, you will be able to pick up the canister. You will notice it has like 1/3 of the canister filled, meaning that you have 2 more pumps to go to. My next pump recommendation would be over in Blackwater, just because the last place that you need to go to is farm anyway to deliver the canister. So that being the final location just makes the most sense. But you'll go over to the second power pump in Blackwater, repeat the exact same process, place that canister within it, wait for the progress bar to complete, re-grab the canister. And it is important to note, once you actually finish one of the canisters, say in Ashwood for the first time, there is a cooldown period for the, or I guess a fail period that you have to get to the next pump and get that filled up in order to restart it. So if you don't get it within that point, you will have to head back to where the canister was located, where Klaus opened up the wall there, and reacquire that at a future round. Now, once you finished up with the pump over in Blackwater Lake, you're going to want to head to the other side and go over to Vandorn Farm, where you're going to place it in the last and final pump, wait the duration of that progress bar, then be able to grab it once again. And this time you're going to want to go into the main cabin or the middle cabin here in the farm. You're going to want to go downstairs in the basement, and you will see a little box down there that you're going to want to interact with the canister on its timer. Once you do that, whatever's in the canister ends up going into the box, powering the box, and you're pretty much now just ready to look for some symbols. Now in Vandorn Farm, there is going to be 3 symbols. One's going to be on top of the barn, one's going to be on the house in the middle, and the last one's going to be on the water tower looking building on the far right, if you're obviously looking at the POI itself. The first one on the left on the barn can be seen if you get far enough away on the road and jump up on the box. You should be able to identify that symbol. The symbol in the middle can be seen if you go in the corner, kind of near where the outside of the building is for the mystery box, and kind of aim towards that rooftop there. A little bit hard to see, but the last and final one on the water tower is going to be generally impossible to see if you don't take the teleporter. So if you guys want an easy way to kind of see what these symbols are, I recommend taking the teleporter from Janus Tower over to farm, or from farm to Janus Tower. And while you're in the air, you will have easy access to all 3 symbols. Now with all these 3 symbols in hand, you're ready to go back down to the box in the basement. And each side of this, except for the front that does have an eyeball, has a little panel that you can interact with. You're going to swap the symbols to match the symbols that are on the building. Now, it isn't a specific order by any means, but each of the sides of the box have a limited amount of symbols that they can change to. So it should be pretty easy for you guys to kind of troubleshoot the symbols that you have on the roof to match the ones that are on the box. Now, once you've got the matching symbols on the 3 sides of the box, you go to the front where the eye is, you'll interact with it, and you will see the Necrofluid Gauntlet actually available to pick up. Now, this isn't where it ends. You will need to actually pick this up, and it will start a lockdown. Now, during this little event, only the person who has the Necrofluid Gauntlet can stand within the circle that is created on the ground. You will see some green orbs around the room that you will need to shoot with the gauntlet, and then you just simply reload to pull the projectiles that you shot back towards you, and it will eliminate the green orbs that you shot at. Now, you will have to do all of the orbs. You don't have to do them all without, reloading, but once you actually reload, it should be pretty easy to identify which ones you haven't eliminated. And once you take out all those orbs, which I believe there are 6 of them, you will get access to the Necrofluid Gauntlet permanently, or at least for the rest of the match, and you will officially have access to it. You will know you've done this because it will have a green orb in the center of the palm, letting you know that you completed the event successfully. Now that's going to wrap things up for us here. This is how you get access to the Necrofluid Gauntlet. Hopefully you guys have a pretty easy time actually knocking this out. I do believe it's going to be more of a challenge solo than anything else, but thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace!